You are listening to the Body Charge podcast, and I'm your host, Sandy Sanderson. Welcome. Today's topic is turning menstrual cycles into a superpower. The commencement of menstruation can be more life-changing than is expected. The transition from a carefree, active life in play and sport to a period each month of mopping up embarrassing fluids and even paranoid that everyone notices, as well as dealing with cramps, mood swings, and energy fluctuations, can be quite daunting. My special guest today is Katrina Christian, a West Australian school teacher and educator about menstrual health. She specialises in girls' wellbeing with a focus on knowledge, wisdom, and power of the menstrual cycle. So welcome aboard, Katrina. Lovely to have you.
Lovely to be here.
This is a really, really interesting topic because it's been taboo for so long in history not to talk about it. And so the lack of information can cause a lot of distress unnecessarily. But when we learn and we have the knowledge, we can talk about it more freely with the right people, of course, and then perhaps sort out some issues along the way. So it's a really good job you're doing, I feel. Um,
Mm.
my first question is, the average age of menarche, which is the first period, has dropped from around 14 to 15 years of age in the early 20th century to 12 years of age or less in recent years. What do you think has contributed to this earlier puberty cycle?
Yeah, that's definitely true. So apparently, according to the research, the average age is dropping at around about 1.5 months to 2 months per decade. So we're finding that the average age at the moment to go through to get your first period, which is menarche, is about between the ages of 9 and 15. So that's like your typical range. But we are definitely seeing much, much younger girls going through at around 8.
Well, that
So
would be a big shock for a child.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And for parents as well, because you're deep in childhood at that point of time. So, you know, anytime you're going through something before someone else or the last is always harder. So yeah, I think I don't like to speculate. From what I've read, it's very environmental. So I think, it's really linked to our food supply. It looks like, obesity has a correlation there, but I would say that's related to many, many things in our environment. So
Yes, so like chemicals,
know,
chemical exposures, and
absolutely
probably
plastics,
stress. Stress is a big one as well.
big one,
So we
big
we
one.
sometimes don't think of our children suffering from stress. Like adults seem to think they're the only ones going through it, but
Mm,
children,
yeah,
even our animals, our pets, feel
yep,
all the stress going through the parents because
yeah.
they're so connected. And
Yep.
we often don't realize that, our stress is contagious within the household, right?
Yeah, we co-regulate with each other. So there's that emotional connection that we have with each other as humans and obviously animals as well. But there's also stresses in what we're eating. So we get stressed through even just putting our bodies through, intensive exercise. We get stressed through eating foods that are not great for our body. So or undernourishing ourselves. So there's lots of stress coming from lots of different, angles, really. And I think that definitely, our world has become much more stressful in all of those ways. The emotional, the physical, the mental. Yeah, so I think that is definitely contributing. So finding really good ways to de-stress is a good solution as well.
Yes, and also the psychological elements play in. It's not only stress in our everyday lives, but also stress coming from social media. And the
Mm.
for young girls, I think they're just like learning about who they are and discovering who they are and wanting to fit in. And so social media gives them these kind of models to emulate and to be like them.
Yeah.
And it's often impossible to be like them, right? And
Oh,
so they feel like
absolutely.
left out, so, and that causes a stress in and of itself. And then also downstream problems of perhaps anorexia, all sorts of
Mhm.
eating disorders, and
Yeah,
then you know, uh, you know, throwing down Big Macs and Coca-Cola, and bragging about what you can do to your body, how you can abuse your body
Mhm.
and bounce back and recover, is also a thing sometimes. And
Yeah,
they don't really understand what they're doing to their body. It's so damaging,
yeah,
because the system can recover sometimes, but each time you abuse your body, you can be doing some damage. You don't even realize that's going to manifest down the track and make later
absolutely.
life a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and so that's why I teach about the inner seasons of our menstrual cycle. And I also do rites of passage with mums and daughters because, again, this addresses all of these aspects of like attunement into your own body and knowing that you are always cycling and your hormones are always doing this really delicate dance. So you need to be like constantly thinking about supporting your ovulation, supporting your body at all times, not just like around your period. And then also the rites of passage part where we're initiating girls into their puberty, into their period and their menarche, and allowing them to see that this is actually a beginning. This is a phase of their life that they're going to go through, and it's a journey that they travel through time. So they're starting maybe young, but they'll gradually go through all the different stages of a rites of passage, and this is their first rites of passage into womanhood, but it takes a long time. So like helping them understand that, I guess it's going back to that self connection of like, and letting all of that noise from the social media and the outside influences, and even the things that, parents and teachers say, and it's culture and society, and helping them to come back to who they are and listen to that inner voice inside of them.
Yeah, so I do remember a long time ago when I went through mine, I was like one of the last ones in my girls group, nearly 16. Um,
Mm,
and I felt privileged when everyone else was complaining about this yucky thing happening to them every month. I'm going,
mm. You had an extra couple of years on them.
until it happened to me. But my
Yeah.
mother was embarrassed to talk to me about it. So when it happened, I kind of had a vague idea from my girlfriends what would happen. But when it happened to me, I felt like I was in shock. Even the first day, I sat in a chair, in a lounge chair, and didn't move for 4 hours
Wow.
because I had a period on, and this was the first time I was feeling the sensation. And
Mm.
it was like, am I going to die? Am I going to lose too much
Yeah.
blood? Am I going to live through this? All sorts of horrible things went through my
Wow.
mind because no one
Yeah.
talked to me about what I should expect, and
Mm.
and that it was normal. And I really love the theme that you introduced, that it can be a superpower. So tell us more about the rites of passage and how this maturation process gives us extra powers and strength and
Mm.
ability. What happens in your teaching? How do you explain that to
Yeah.
young people?
Yeah, so I have the two arms. Like, so I do, when I go into schools, I mainly teach about the first period and the whole period and the anatomy and what all the things that you were saying, like what exactly what to expect, like how to use the period products, what's, typical for a period and what's not. So we go through all of the kind of more educational side of things of like really the practical stuff as well. And so girls walk away with that feeling of like, oh, I can do this. So we also talk about the menstrual cycle inside of that, which is four different phases throughout the whole menstrual cycle. And I relate them to the inner seasons. And we discuss like all the different seasons of your menstrual cycle and how you can be almost like four different people at um, throughout that whole phase that as your hormones are doing all of these different things.
And how the
Um,
hormones affect the brain and your moods,
Absolutely,
sleep
yes.
cycles,
Energy levels, like how you feel about
emotions.
socializing, and when you're sometimes you just want to be doing inward work, that's like coming up to your period. You're going to be really, got a lot of progesterone at that time. So it's very, that's your truth telling phase. You might be PMS a little bit. So you're going to be sort of maybe wanting to be more in nature and journaling. But then, I teach them that, day one of your period is the first day of your bleed. And that's your winter time. So that's when you're kind of hibernating and slowing down and really taking things a bit slower. And there's a really amazing lady called Lucy Peach who talks about that as your dream phase. So you're creating these dreams in your mind, but you're not actioning them. And then you move into your spring, which is when the estrogen comes up starts to rise. And that's when you're starting to like be a little bit more social, and you're thinking about the flowers coming out at that time of year. And so you're blooming, you're actioning some of those ideas in the dream phase, and then you're moving through into your ovulation, that's your most active time and
And
most
very creative.
creative. You're birthing ideas at that point, like you're really actioning on anything that you're doing. And you can often find that girls are very, have like lots more energy at that time to do sport or just being more social at that time. And then, yeah, you're coming back into that autumn time, which is that progesterone premenstrual phase again. So we talk about that. And I also discuss that in my rites of passages as well with the mums and the daughters that I do like a circle with. And because that's really helpful information to help them understand their body. But I also talk about that rites of passage have like three phases. So you've got, that initial separation phase, and then you have that transition phase, and then you have like an emergent phase afterwards where you're coming out as the fully fledged, butterfly. And saying that, we go through so many rites of passage. So like as soon as we start cycling as women, so as soon as we start our menstrual cycle, we're constantly in flow, like we're constantly in cycles that are connected so closely to nature. Yeah.
Well, we cycle with the moon, don't we? So the whole solar
Yeah,
system is connected to periods, or we
that's
are
right.
connected to the whole solar system.
Yeah, yeah. And so I teach them, the girls, like men, they have a 24-hour clock. So they rise, their hormones rise and ebb and flow with the sun, and we ebb and flow with the moon. So, yes, that's a great analogy to have as well.
Yeah, so it's a bit of yin and yang, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So,
And I just
so
think it's so helpful.
and understanding the cycles and the changes month by month, that gives girls the knowledge and the power of the knowledge to
Hmm.
look at their body, what their body is doing naturally, and respect and honor it. And I think this is a big change in attitude because it used to be considered, without talking about it in this light, as something, yucky and almost dangerous because you can get pregnant. And then, that
Yeah.
would be disastrous for the family out of wedlock. And
Yeah.
all of these negatives have come in over centuries um, to make girls feel somehow second-class citizens or
Hmm.
dirty in a way.
Right.
And it's definitely not empowering, but the opposite, disempowering.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We
So
just were There's been so much hidden from us. I see it in that way of that we just haven't had the knowledge. This knowledge hasn't been widely shared. Um, and it leaves confusion. So it leaves this gap of we need to fill in that information ourselves. And like you said, like you were sitting thinking, oh my gosh, what is going to happen to me? Am I going to die? And that's at 16 after obviously seeing other friends going through periods as well. So,
it was different when I
I think,
felt it and experienced it myself.
yeah, that's right. That's
And
right.
yeah,
So I think the more knowledge we can have for our bodies, and it comes into any rites of passage, is through puberty, through motherhood journey as well, and through menopause. Like we need to know about our bodies. And one of the key things about our bodies is our menstrual cycle. We need to know exactly what is going on. It's not just your period, and you can't get pregnant throughout your whole entire cycle. Um, there's so much more nuances in our cycle that we can, and there's so many actual signs. So it's used as I don't know if you've ever heard the term of that, it's a vital sign. So I say to the girls, it's just like, checking your blood pressure or your heart rate. You can use your bleed phase as a way to figure out, how are things going in your life? Are you are you healthy right now? Because that is a massive sign of health. If you've got, if you don't have typical symptoms like things like heavy bleeding, if you've got pain, if you're having high and low moods, these are all signs that something's not right. That is
Yeah.
not supposed to happen. We're not supposed to suffer through our periods every cycle. And that information really hasn't been widely shared. And there's just been so much misunderstanding around that. I myself have been someone who suffered from that because I thought that my symptoms were kind of normal, or you're supposed to have pain and you're supposed to have these bleeds, and
Yep.
that's absolutely not true at all.
Inflammation, even
Yeah.
endometriosis. A lot of women
Yep.
suffer in silence.
Yep.
And
Yep.
these, just by changing environment, and lifestyle and nutrition, avoiding what you shouldn't eat, eating what you should eat, doing those simple
Hmm.
things can alleviate the symptoms, such as, for instance, magnesium. So this is my
Mm.
business, Elektra Magnesium, and
Yeah.
we use it transdermally mostly because you can
Yep.
just rub it in to an area that's feeling cramped or sore or inflamed or a bit achy, and within minutes you feel the magnesium penetrating and circulating and relieving the tension and the pressure, because magnesium is a relaxing mineral. It controls the calcium, which is the tightening mineral. So wherever it's extra tight, you put magnesium there and it helps to relax it and make the
Mm.
muscle area more flexible and stretchy, and therefore relieve the pressure and the pain of the inflammation. And magnesium also has anti-inflammatory aspects to it. Unfortunately, today we don't get enough from the food supply, and
Yep.
the excessive stresses cause more loss through the urine, more magnesium excretion. And so it
Mm.
leaves us with low magnesium. And especially, you've got young people with hormonal changes and lots of stress at school, extra sport. All the stresses compound.
Yep.
And then when they get depletion, I mean, even younger ages can have excessive growing pains, for instance.
Mm.
These are all symptoms and signs people need to recognize. Well, that should be able to be fixed. That's not normal. How can we fix it? What's missing in the diet? What's missing in the lifestyle that we can fill those gaps and smooth it out and make the body or support the body to be normal and, well, better
Absolutely.
balanced? Yeah.
Mm. Absolutely. I love magnesium and I think it's amazing for like um any phase of life for women. So I do, yeah, I always show your products at my presentations.
Oh, wonderful.
And
That helped me
yeah, and
get over
I'm
menopause without
oh,
sleepless nights, without,
that
hot sweats,
yeah.
none of
I
that.
can't do without my magnesium.
I breezed through it, and
Yes.
it felt like so normal and so,
Mm.
unobtrusive. Uh, and I felt, even years after menopause, I felt like my body was getting stronger. It's quite amazing.
Mm.
I
Amazing.
feel, yeah, I didn't expect it to be any better. But year after year, I look at myself, I'm going, I can still do my yoga stretches every night. I can still swim every
Mm.
morning. I can still do the stuff I want to do, and I don't feel like I'm getting old. So I probably am,
No,
but I don't feel like it.
that's amazing. And I think I feel like a lot of that would come down to really good sleep, right? Like, because that's so
Yes.
important.
Oh,
Yeah. And
yes.
that magnesium is so great for that deep sleep.
Yep. Well, that's where all
Yeah.
the repair happens. You detoxing, your
Mm.
brain detoxes itself because it makes the melatonin, and the melatonin cleans up the cerebrospinal fluid. And if you don't get enough deep sleep and you still have those waste products hanging around in the morning, it feels like a
Mm.
hangover if you don't get a good
Yeah.
sleep. And you got that brain fog and it's cloudy,
Mm.
and you're low in energy, you're fatigued. Oh, it's really not a good way to enjoy life.
No, definitely not. No, and yeah, you're right. There's so many little things that you can do to sort of support that, and then you can still like if those things haven't resolved through just those dietary changes and those lifestyle
Yep,
changes, and like adding a few things in to support your body,
yep,
then that's when you know potentially like with adenomyosis and endometriosis, those and PMDD
yep.
they often do require a little bit of extra support, you know, because
They
yeah,
they
it can
do.
be.
The reason that we have the inflammation, which becomes excessive, is because the body is not able to do its normal processing without enough magnesium. It's the electrical energy supply. So when
Mhm.
your energy levels, your electrical energy levels drop, you don't have enough for the detox system. You don't have
Mm.
enough to get the job done. And so those extra bits that hang around that are not detoxed irritate the immune system. The immune system gets triggered because it's got to come in and fix problems. And so there's inflammation. There are waste products not being eliminated properly. And if you
Mhm.
address those issues, the symptoms go away. It's that simple. The answer is
Amazing.
not in numbing and dumbing the pain down. I mean,
Absolutely.
you can use the painkillers for, acute circumstances, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's not something you should do on a chronic
Or
level.
be
Like,
relying on.
don't rely on it. Like,
No.
the body is crying out for help. That
Yeah.
when you have pain and inflammation, it's the body telling you something is wrong, something needs to be
Signal.
fixed. So pay attention. And,
Absolutely.
with your lifestyle, experiment with, adding different things, because everyone's different. Some people are
Mm.
allergic to stuff, other people are not allergic to. I mean, it's not one t-shirt that fits all. But
No.
basically, avoiding the chemical exposures, having some moderate exercise and stress relief, maybe even meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, these kind of
Mm.
lifestyle processes actually conserve magnesium loss. So that's good.
Mm. Mm.
And just going to get some medications or replacement hormones, or all it is a superficial mask for a
Mm.
problem, because we never know how much our body needs to fix an imbalance. We don't know. We're
That's right.
guessing all the time. And if you guess
Yeah.
wrong and you have too much of something, then you cause a whole other set of different problems and side effects from the medications. So,
Yeah,
so what
absolutely.
First and primary, we need to always look at what we're eating, what we're exposed to. Are we drinking
Mm-hmm.
enough water? Are we getting enough sleep?
Mm-hmm.
All of those really basic things. Because young
Absolutely.
people can recover if they get those things right. They're
Yeah.
young, the body bounces
It's
back fast.
that's right. 80% of our health comes from just doing those basic things, which sound really simple, but it seems to be that people are like, well, I need like a pill or I need something other than that to fix it. But it's actually like, no, 80% of your health, you can just improve so much of your life just by changing all of those lifestyle factors. And they do, I guess, in this day and age, is harder to do so. But we really we're really suffering in our menstrual cycles. We can see it in the general health of our population, that we do need to go back to those basic principles of
Yes.
movement, exercise, and sunlight and relationships. Like really looking at the relationships we have as well. I think that is a big part of it too, because that causes stress within ourselves, emotional stress too.
Yes, and what behaviors are acceptable and what are not, and being strong in yourself,
Mm,
not caving to peer pressure when you know something
yeah,
is wrong.
yeah,
Really teaching young people how to stand up for what's right and to learn
absolutely.
who they are, and to, not bend to pressure, because that in
Mm.
itself causes a pressure. Then they feel somehow imprisoned or chained, or not free. They can't get out of some kind of trap, and this is really bad for mental health.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so there's like a catch-22. It's a biofeedback system. So
Mm.
the lower the minerals, the more sensitive we get, and the lower the energy levels get, the less the brain has electrical energy to process things. And
Mm.
so it's a downward spiral.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
and those waste products not coming out, they'll dump into the lymphatic system. That'll cause more acne. And then they'll feel even
mm,
more self-conscious. Whereas
yeah,
if everything is being washed out and cleaned properly by the body, when it's got all the
that's right.
resources it needs, your skin clears up. And then you
Oh,
can be more
true.
active and you can get some sunshine and salt water and,
Mm,
enjoy life a lot more. And the mental attitude completely changes when your body's feeling
yeah.
good.
Oh, totally. It's
Yeah,
a
you can
massive
go out
shift.
and conquer the world.
Yeah, you can. And I think like as well saying about oh, I forgot what I was going to say then. Um about the you sorry, we'll carry on and
That's all
it'll
right.
come back in
We were
a
talking
moment.
about the chemicals and turning things around. By
Yeah.
paying attention to your body and giving it what it needs, you feel good. So then you mentally feel better. And this is
Yeah.
empowerment. This is a superpower. The superpower is being strong on the inside, knowing who you are and what's right, what are good
Yes.
behaviors and bad behaviors, and not caving to peer pressure for a bad behavior,
Yes.
sticking to
That's what
your
I was going.
ground. Yeah.
Yes. So what I was thinking is like the more you know your body, the more that you can tune into yourself, the more that it becomes easier to do that because you are just listening to the cues from your body rather than listening to the other, the other influences around you. As I'm losing my train of thought again, but yeah. So I
You
think.
need more magnesium.
Yeah, I think I do. Oh, and detoxing, that's what I was going to say is our hormones as well. So, we were talking about the endocrine disruptors in our environment. Again, having that detoxing mechanism happening and being open those channels in our body, we're able to then reduce those higher estrogen that we're exposed to, right? So that also helps with all of our hormonal profile as well.
It does. And just, drinking enough mineral water.
Mm,
As soon as you drink mineral water, about half of it can go straight into the brain because the brain
mm,
needs a lot of electrical activity.
mm,
And it's really thirsty for water. And
mm,
by having the minerals, the magnesium minerals present in the water, more water can get into cells. And
mm,
more of the water can provide that electrical activity we need to function better. All your organs,
mm.
your brain, your heart, liver, kidneys, everything works better when it's well hydrated and when it has a good balance of minerals, and particularly magnesium, which is lost under stress.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, so good work for all the education in this area. You probably need to teach a lot of other teachers, and we should make this like,
Mm,
you know, common in all the schools.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for teachers, I guess, because they do a like a puberty kind of lesson, but they don't have all of the information. So I think having someone come in that is like who can pretty much download all of that information in lots of depth and answer
Yep,
those questions is really helpful.
yep.
Because even myself, until I started to really look at the education program I was providing, I still found stuff that I didn't know about team periods and things like that. So I was like quite surprised at what I didn't fully understand at that point. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
the girls have to teach the girls, don't they? As women have to
yeah,
step in, the female teachers. It's
yeah,
not up to the men. What would they know? They don't experience it.
that's
Um,
right. Yeah.
so
And
our
many
sisters
women
have to
don't.
come in.
That's right. But I also find that a lot of the teachers are not, they don't know about their menstrual cycle either or anything,
Yeah.
again, and they just going through life sort of, not really observing their body or anything either. Again, teachers are highly stressed.
You have to walk the talk.
You do. Yeah, absolutely. So,
Well,
mm.
that's wonderful. So, how can people connect with you if they want to find out more about what you do?
Yeah, so I have a website, wellwisewoman.com.au, and I'm on Instagram as Wellwise Woman and on Facebook as Wellwise Girl. So they can find me on socials and they can find me on my website. On my website, I have heaps of free resources and lots of information for teachers and for parents, and
Yeah.
then lots of things about periods and rites of passage and that kind of thing as well. So
So important, so important. And if people have questions, they can probably send you an email, or do you have a chat
absolutely.
box, or, someone just has an
So
individual thing they want to share?
yeah, I'm on email at I'm Katrina at wellwisewoman.com.au. So they can contact me that through my email or through my website or just messaging me on social media is fine too.
Yeah, so you may get some teachers and parents wanting to help spread the good message.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be great.
I hope you liked this conversation and will share it with others. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you want to listen to other Body Charge conversations, click like, subscribe, the bell icon, and click all notifications. Subscribe to our newsletter to get updates on blogs, podcasts, videos, and magnesium special offers at electromagnesium.com.au. Relax, recharge, and recover.